guys, it's Bex. Welcome to another video, another reading vlog. Today we are going to be doing something I've done once before and I really enjoyed it, and even then I was like, I'm definitely going to be doing this again. I think that was like my third video ever or something like that, so yeah, didn't really know what I was doing, but I think I'm getting there, so hopefully this video is better. But we're going to be letting a number generator wheel pick how many pages we read every day for, I think I'm gonna do 5 days. That's the plan. The book that I'm currently reading and that hopefully we can finish either today or tomorrow is Unravel Me by Tara Mafi, the second book in the Shatter Me series. It's like a young adult dystopian with romance. You've probably heard of it. And I really liked the first book, Shatter Me. I rated it a 4.25 stars. And this one I'm already thinking is gonna be higher. There was like a part that I kind of just read, probably around 200 page mark. That was crazy, and I read it yesterday and I could not stop reading and I couldn't put it down. So I'm on page 262 and there's like 450, and depending on our spin for today, we are going to be close probably to finishing the book, because the range that I have is, hopefully you guys can see this okay. Again, I say this in almost every video, I feel like. Sorry if you hear my cat trying to get in here. They're not allowed in here during the day, so yeah. I film on my phone, so I have my laptop that I use for stuff like this in videos usually. So our range is 100 pages to 200 pages. 100 is pretty doable for me, but is still more than I usually read in a day. Like yesterday, I probably read like 60 pages. Some days I read like 30 pages, you know? So I think that's a good range. And if we get like 190 to 200 pages, I believe I will be finishing Unravel Me. And we can always go over the page amount, you know, that we get on our spin, depending on how I'm feeling and how busy I am. So without further ado, for the first day, we'll spin. It's an interval of 10. We'll see what we get. 140? Yes. Okay, good. I like that number, kind of right in the middle. So that'll give us a little bit of a buffer, I guess you could call it, with this book, because if I read 140 pages, I think I'll be like 50 pages shy of finishing it, so I probably won't today. But if I'm really into it, I might, so we'll just see, but probably not. With that being said, we're just going to read this 150 pages today. I'm super excited. I cannot with this book. I literally cannot. Okay, so I'm on page 352, chapter 56. And just as a reminder, I started on page 262. So I've read 90 pages and I have 50 pages left, so doing pretty good. Like 2/3 of the way through my reading today, and I'm just gonna say that literally obsessed. I wish I could just like talk to you guys about it so bad, but that would be spoilers. So we'll see. At the end of this book, maybe I'll do like a little spoiler talk section with timestamps, of course, and all that. But I also realized that I did not give you guys a summary of what this series is about, I should say. So basically, it's about this girl, Juliet, who is 17 years old, and she has spent a lot of her life kind of locked up because everyone was scared of her and her gift, which is basically that if she makes like skin to skin contact with someone, she could kill them. And Juliet is just like the most kind person ever, and so that is the last thing she wants to do. And that's hard because in the world she lives in, it's just kind of like war is inevitable and there's soldiers and the soldiers are killing people. So at the beginning of the first book, she is in a cell, and she's been in the cell for like a year, kind of as a prisoner of the Reestablishment Group, which is just like a group trying to take over the world. There's this guy Warner, he's like the leader kind of the sector that they're in. He's kind of the one that's overseeing Juliet's imprisonment. So that's kind of what happens in the first book. Obviously, like, there's more to it, but again, spoilers. But she obviously doesn't want to be there, and she kind of joins forces with this guy, Adam, and a romance sparks between them. Basically, the reason why, by the way, she's their prisoner is because they want to use her as like a weapon because of her power, and she doesn't want that. So I feel like I would react very similarly to Juliet in a lot of the things that happen. Like, she, you know, doesn't want to use her power, she hates it, she wishes she was normal, like all that. I've heard that the series, like the first book, is not the best by any means, and already I'm seeing that because although I liked the first one a lot, I'm just absolutely loving this one. And I've even heard that the third book in the series, Ignite Me, is people's favorite or one of their favorites in the series. And I think there's how many books? 6, and then there's 4 novellas, I'm pretty sure, in the series, and I own all of them, so that's nice because it's gonna be really hard not to jump into the next book, or I guess the next novella first after finishing this. But yeah, as I kind of said earlier, I feel like once you get to page like 200, it really starts to pick up, and I've had trouble putting it down ever since then. So loving it so much. That is the update. I should definitely be able to finish my reading for today. It is currently like 7 o'clock, but I'm probably gonna stay up fairly late. So reading, did I say I have 50 pages left? 50 pages left will probably, honestly, with this book, take me like less than 40 minutes, between like 30 to 40 minutes to read because it reads really quickly. That is the update right now, and I'm going to probably take a little break from reading because I read a majority of my reading for the day like in the last hour. So take a little break and I'll get back to it in a couple hours. It's like 10:30 p.m. and I have 12 more pages to read to hit my goal. All I have to say is Warner. Can't understand why I can still hear him speaking, because I'm dead. I'm already dead. I've died over and over and over again. I finished that chapter. It was a long one. So now I'm on page 409. So I'm 7 pages ahead, and I don't think I can stop. I mean, it's only 11. It's not like it's like 2 a.m. I haven't, just saying, I literally haven't stayed up. Again, it's only 11, to like finish a book or to like read a book in a while. I think this is 5 stars. Good morning. It is the next day. I had a lovely morning. We went to the farmer's market. Didn't really get anything except for a bouquet of flowers, which are so pretty. And I got a huckleberry lemonade. And then we went to Starbucks. So on to my second fun drink of the day. Hopefully my last. Cheers. Then for an update on where I got in Unravel Me last night. No bookmark. I finished it. It was so good. Like I said, I didn't think I could stop reading and I just went for it and finished it and still went to bed around midnight. Yeah, 5 stars. I loved it. It was so good. I feel like I see a lot of critiques on this series as a whole, or the first book if people didn't continue the series, that Juliet, the main character, is, you know, whining about her love life and about poor me, blah, blah, blah. And I totally get that. However, I don't know why, but it didn't really bother me. It hasn't bothered me thus far, and I feel like she's just growing as a person the farther we get into this series. She was maybe a little bit like that at the beginning of this book, just in the sense of whenever her and her love interest, like any little tiny thing would happen, like she thought he was mad at her or she didn't know what was going on or what he was thinking, she would like freak out and it would just take over her brain and everything she did. So I get that, but yeah, it didn't really bother me. And the last thing I have to say about this book is that I don't want to give spoilers away, so I'm just going to be very vague, but basically the romance situation in this book, I think I'm definitely leaning one way, probably similar to most people who read this book, because I was just simping over him, the guy that I'm talking about, and just how much I don't really know if I buy the whole love thing yet, because they don't even know each other that well, but he says he loves her. But either way, like, I was here for it and definitely excited to see more of that in Ignite Me, because I'm pretty sure that's where it's heading, and I've heard little bits of it, not spoilers, but just I've heard bits about it that it kind of picks up in that book with this guy that I'm talking about. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this book. 5 stars. And then as far as today goes, oh, I should probably grab my laptop. Okay, so we are going to do the same. However, I think just to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to exclude 140 because that's what we spun yesterday. I would rather specifically today have a lower number because it's already noon and I have not read anything. And also we are about to go by about, I mean in like an hour. We're about to go to the lake and we're going to rent jet skis and just have a little lake day, and I am gonna bring either 1 or 2 books, and I'll tell you guys kind of which ones those are in a second, but I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to read. The jet skis we're renting for only an hour, so hopefully after that, if we're just gonna stay at the beach, which I'm assuming we are for a little bit, I can just read a little bit, and then obviously tonight. But with that being said, let's spin for today. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, okay. That's a little better. I thought it was going to land on 180. It was very close, which still not much difference. Obviously 170 to 180. Okay, you know, not what I was hoping for today, so hopefully I read all of that. I don't really know, to be honest, if I will, but we're gonna try. So with that being said, the books that I have today as my options are Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I'm just so excited to read it, so that's an option. However, I might either just read this one more tonight and then read something else at the beach. So what I'm thinking to read at the beach is The Summer of Skinny Dipping and The Summer of Broken Rules, and I don't really know what I'm feeling between those two. I'm feeling maybe like The Summer of Skinny Dipping, so I think that's what I'm gonna go with. So like I said, we'll just see what happens between these 2 books today. That's the plan, and I am going to probably start reading a little bit right now before we go, and then maybe even in the car. It's like a 30-minute drive. That's the plan, and I will update you guys probably after we get back from the lake. Alright guys, it is now like almost 8 o'clock, so a lot later. And I've had a very busy day. Like I said, I went jet skiing, I went to the beach, and I did in fact read while I was there. Just my Kindle book. I haven't started this one yet, and I honestly think I'm just gonna start it tomorrow. Just wanted to kind of get a decent chunk into the book on my Kindle, which is again The Summer of Skinny Dipping, and I am on page 113. So I read a good amount at the beach, but we weren't there super long because it was like pretty hot. It was almost 90 degrees and we were in the sun. So we still have 57 pages left to meet my goal. However, I will say, I feel like if I don't meet my goal, I will call it a wash because I read extra yesterday and I've just been really busy today, but I think we can probably get at least close. But anyway, I'm 38% of the way through, so it's a pretty short book. It says it's 298 pages. I also don't think that I told you guys what this book is about. So it is a YA romance. There's not much romance yet, but obviously can see it developing very slowly. But it is about this 16-year-old girl, Mia, who is, honestly, why can't I remember like why she is where she is right now? Hold on. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that she is visiting her cousin, and that's why she's there. I knew she was visiting her cousin, but I guess that's the reason she's there. Her and her family are in the Hamptons visiting her cousin, Corinne, and her family, and her whole life, her and Corinne have been very close. All of a sudden though, when she arrives this summer, Corinne is just kind of like too cool for her, and she's kind of finding it hard to like fit in with Corinne and her new friends, her older friends. She's like drinking and smoking and blah blah blah, and Mia just isn't really about that, and she just feels very like insecure in her body around these perfect, skinny, beautiful girls, which is very relatable. And she also recently got dumped by her boyfriend after, you know, thinking that she loved him, and she's super sad about it. But she meets this guy, Simon, who is just kind of like not like the other people that she's kind of forced to hang out with, Corinne and her friends. He kind of just doesn't care what people think, and she's kind of drawn to that. So yeah, she's just kind of started hanging out with him, and that's kind of really all there is to it. Not a lot has happened, to be honest. So yeah, the plot is kind of slow, and at least up until this point in the book, I wouldn't even, like I said before, there's not really a lot of romance at all yet, so I wouldn't even really say as of right now that it's even like a romance book. More just like a young adult teen fiction book. So yeah, I'm liking it, but it's definitely nothing special. However, it is keeping my attention. Like I said, I will probably be starting Reckless tomorrow, so I'm not really sure if I will be finishing this book in this video because it is so short, maybe, but kind of just like a side read and a good beachy kind of read that I wanted for today because I usually don't go to the beach. But yeah, that's the update. A little under 60 pages left to read. We'll see how far I get. Like I said, it's getting kind of late already, so we'll see what happens. Morning or afternoon in my case. It is 3:30 right now, and I'm just now doing this little intro. I have started reading for the day, so that's good, but we'll get into that in a second. So first, I think I'll spin, and then I'll update you guys on what I read yesterday and what I've already read today and all that good stuff. So here is our number wheel. Oh, let me exclude 170. Glad to be excluding that one. Okay, so now we have 140 excluded and 170. So let's spin for today. This is the third day. It is Sunday today, and I hope we get a low number. Luckily we did. Sweet. Okay, that is awesome. 120 pages because it's already 3:30 and I have read 19 specifically pages of my book today only. So as you can see, this is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. We started it today. I did not end up starting it yesterday because that brings us to our update for yesterday. I was reading The Summer of Skinny Dipping, and I think last I updated you guys, I had read 113 pages of that book and just in general for yesterday. And that is in fact all I read yesterday. So we did not reach our goal. But I also said this in the last clip, I think, that I would consider it kind of a wash because I read extra 2 days ago for our first day of this challenge. If you add up how many pages I've read total so far versus the amount of pages I was supposed to read, I'm still over what I was supposed to read by I think it was 15 to 20 pages, something like that. So we are 20 pages into our 120 pages today. My plan for the day is to just probably continue to read this book and put The Summer of Skinny Dipping on hold. If you guys don't know what this book is, it is the second book in the Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts. It is a romantasy series, enemies to lovers, about this girl Peyton who lives as an ordinary in a world of elites where ordinaries are frowned upon and sometimes even put to death. She's pretty much lived her whole life pretending to be an elite, which basically just means you have a power. So she's been pretending that she is psychic. But little does she know that she will find herself in these things called the purging trials, which are basically just, a series of competitions where you basically just have to survive through these tasks and there's only one winner and people die, and she and the prince, his name is Kai, they spark up a romance, and the reason that they're enemies is because he's an elite and his duty as the prince is to kill ordinaries. Yeah, just totally opposite ends of the spectrum. But this is just the continuation and can't really say too much about this book without giving away the first one, obviously. So far so good. 20 pages in. We're gonna keep reading this, and I think I have a little bit less than 2 hours to read until I have to go somewhere. I have been so busy this weekend, which I'm not really surprised because it's the 4th of July weekend. I think it's the 7th today. I don't even know. Wasn't home very much yesterday, and then today woke up, had a little bit of time to read, and then got ready to go golfing, and that takes 5 hours. So just got back, took a shower, gonna eat and read, and then we're gonna go to dinner at my fiance's parents' house. So just busy. Tomorrow I don't have much planned, and then I work Tuesday, and then I'm off Wednesday. So I can read again Wednesday, and that'll be our final day. That is the plan, and I will see you guys later with an update on Reckless. Guys, it is the next day and I ended up reading 123 pages. I'm on page 124, so we did make it. And yeah, we're already a good chunk into this book, a third of the way, I would say. So hopeful that we can finish this book in this video. With that being said, let's see how much we have to read today. I already excluded our spin from yesterday, which was 120. 180, okay, that's quite a bit, but that should be doable because I don't have a lot going on today. As long as I actually read how much I'm supposed to, we will definitely be finishing this book in this video. Also, random side note, if the sound all of a sudden sounds different in this video, in this clip, it's because I got a new cord for my new phone because my microphone that I have, the cord for it wouldn't work in my iPhone 15 because if you know, they switched the port. so I had to get a new one and it finally came in. So hopefully it's better, and if you noticed a difference, that's why. So anyway, I will read this and I'll see you a little bit later with an update. It's been a couple hours, so I have an update for you guys. I'm on page 203, so over halfway done. And then I actually have also read some of my Kindle book, The Summer of Skinny Dipping, because I went on some errands and I was the passenger princess, of course, so I just read on my phone on the Kindle app, and I read 50 pages somehow in the car. Not sure how that happened, but so I'm on page 163, and I think adding up, I just added them up and wrote it down so that I wouldn't forget, but I think I already forgot. I think I've read like 120, was it 128 possibly, pages so far today, so I have 70-ish left, so should be able to do it. I think it's like 5 something right now, so still have time. I do have work tomorrow, so need to get to bed at a decent hour. I'm probably honestly just gonna keep reading right after this and then eat dinner and then try to read a little bit more before bed. So I'm gonna try to get to page 260-ish, and that'll leave us a little over 100 pages left of this book. So again, hopefully we can finish at least this book in this video. I'll probably just finish it and let you guys know my thoughts on it, even if I don't, but depending on our spin for the last day and all that. My thoughts on Reckless, because I haven't said them yet at all. I definitely am really liking it. I do think that I don't like it quite as much as Powerless, and I don't know if I said, but I rated Powerless 4.75 stars. Like, I really don't know how to explain my thoughts on this book without giving spoilers. But basically, I wish that what happens in the book pretty early on, I wish it didn't happen so early. I feel like dragging it out a little bit would have been good and make it so that when it does happen, you've, been waiting for it and all that. I also think, and I have seen this talked about a little bit already, but I definitely have noticed a couple editing problems, like, missed quotation marks or spelling words wrong, missing a letter, stuff like that, probably 4 times so far. So that doesn't take away from the book at all, in my opinion. Like, I get that that's probably easy to miss, so I don't really care, but that's one thing I noticed. I don't know, I feel like I haven't heard this very much, but this series reminds me a little bit of Dance of Thieves. I remember when I started Powerless, the beginning is like super similar to Dance of Thieves in the sense of Peyton and Cassie, the main character in Dance of Thieves. They are both like thieves, and they're really good at stealing things. Very similar. And then what's kind of going on right now in this book between the 2 main characters is similar to something that happens in Dance of Thieves, kind of near the beginning, middle-ish. So definitely can see that she probably took some inspiration from that, which again is fine. It's not like the story's the same. Yeah, if you've read this book or read Dance of Thieves, you probably know the trope that I'm kind of talking about between the enemies. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know that's really vague. I'm sorry if you haven't read this book. But yeah, other than that, like, the story is keeping my attention, and I just kind of started to get that butterfly feeling between Kai and Peyton again because of a couple things that just happened, and I'm nervous to finish this book. Like, what are they gonna do to lead up to a 3rd book? What is Lauren Roberts gonna do? I don't know. You guys, it is Wednesday, so last day of this challenge, and we are going to just go ahead and jump straight into our spin for the day. So honestly, we could get a really high number or we could get a really low number. I have the 2 highest numbers still, 200, 190, and the 2 lowest numbers still, 100 and 110, and then a couple in the middle. So we could really get anything. I'm probably hoping for something in the middle, maybe like 130 or 150. Hi, Sammy. 110. So, of course, I don't have my book right here next to me right now, but I think that I have like 130 pages left of that. So we're going to be really close to finishing it with this number. And I'm also getting pretty close to finishing The Summer of Skinny Dipping. I did read it yesterday, even on my off day of doing this video. I'm probably like 75-80% of the way into that book because it is so short, but probably won't be finishing that book in this video. We're just going to stick with Reckless today, and I'm really excited to finish it, but also nervous because I just, don't know how it's going to end, to be honest. I have a feeling I know kind of where they're going to end up, but I don't know like what's going to happen and what the lead up to the third and final book's going to be. So yeah, excited but nervous, and I've also heard a little bit of mixed reviews, mostly that people like it, but not everyone's going to be happy. Everyone has their own opinions, but I'm excited to see what I think, and let's just get reading for today. Just thought I would give you guys a little bit of an update before I pretty much finish this book. I still have 50 something pages to read for my pages today that I spun, and I have like 60 something pages left of the book, and it's 8 o'clock. I usually go to bed at like 9:30, so I should be able to read 60 pages in about an hour. This book doesn't read super fast or super slow. It's pretty average for me, and I'm pretty sure I read on average about 1 page a minute. So yeah, there's no way that I'm going to read the pages and not finish the book since I'll have like 10 pages left. It is getting so good. Like, oh, Caden, I almost said Caden. Kai and Peyton, I just love them so much, and we've just been learning things. We just learned something pretty recently about Peyton and about the Ordinaries kind of in general, and the elites, and Kai's dad, and I don't know if I've said this, but it's multiple POV, not just dual POV, with Kit too, who is Kai's brother, which is a little different from the first book because the first book, Powerless, is only Kai and Peyton's POV, and so we've probably gotten Kit's POV like 4 times, like not very often at all, but it keeps like hinting that he's gonna do something, and I'm just like, what are you freaking gonna do, Kit? Like, you better not do something that's gonna make me angry, but he probably will. I have like 4 pages left. I knew it. A vlog. Oh my god. Hey guys, time to tell you guys my thoughts on all these books. Reckless, I finished it last night. I stayed up to finish it because I had like 20 pages left, and then I still had to read the epilogue. And after finishing this book, I went on TikTok, as one does, and searched Reckless Lord Roberts because I just had to see other people's thoughts on this book and how it ends, because it was crazy. And as you guys would have seen, I said I knew it. Like, I didn't know it very much before it happened. I would probably say a couple chapters before. For some reason, it just clicked. I even almost told the camera, oh, I have a feeling that I know what is gonna happen. But then I just thought, I don't know how that's like feasible and how he thinks that's a good idea and that everyone would be behind that plan, because how would they're gonna hate that plan, right? Is that just me? But apparently I was right, and they're just gonna deal with it. I don't know. Was it perfect? Not at all, no. But I still really liked it. I would probably say, I want to give it like a 4.5, but I also don't know if that's just because I like just finished it and being back in this world and all that is making my rating higher. But I think right now I'm gonna go with a 4.5 stars. I was like just thinking before I started filming this little outro, what actually happened in this book? Not a lot, and it's not like super long, but still that's long enough to where I feel like more should have happened. It was kind of a game of cat and mouse, like back and forth. If you read it, you know what I'm talking about. Ugh, I need a sweater. I am cold. But I do think that maybe this book is going to have, what is it called? Like middle book syndrome, second book syndrome, something like that in a series, where the second book in a series or the middle book in a trilogy or whatever is the worst. I'm hoping that's the case because I obviously like Powerless more, and I'm hoping that the third book, Fearless, is just going to blow my socks off. And I don't know why, but I have a feeling that that's going to be my favorite book of the series. I don't know why, but I thought it was well done. I enjoyed it. She probably had so much pressure to write this book because of all the success that Powerless got and the fact that was her debut book. I was happy with it. I would say it lived up to my expectations. Also just obsessed with this cover and Powerless. Both of the covers are so pretty. So yeah, finished that book yesterday, and then I technically finished this book today, which the end of my video was yesterday, or like doing the spins and whatnot. Let me just say the ending, I did not expect that, and it wasn't really like the ending I wanted, but I also kind of like when an author does that and it's not just so cut and dry, the ending you think is gonna happen, the happy ending. So that was kind of refreshing. I have no idea on a rating for this book, but I will say that the beginning was a little bit slow, kind of until you meet the love interest Simon. And I think I said earlier in this video that it's more so kind of about growing up and just Mia finding herself and stuff, but it definitely is a romance, and that becomes more evident as the book continues. So yeah, I would say the first like half of the book maybe really is more like a young adult teen coming of age story, and then the second half of the book is more a romance, and I really liked them together. They were really cute, and yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. It would probably be in the high 3 stars. I mean, there was nothing like particularly that I didn't like about it, except for that the beginning was a little bit slow maybe, and that it was short, so it's hard to rate it too high, but so maybe like a 3.5. And then you obviously already heard my thoughts on Unravel Me, so I won't go into too much detail about that, but definitely my favorite book out of this video. I'm like so excited to finish this series and continue. So I honestly think that I might pick up the novella that comes after this, Fracture Me, next, and then jump straight into Ignite Me, the next like actual book in the series, because I'm so excited. And I think I'm honestly gonna do a little part at the end of this video where I talk about spoilers about these two books. Just short, try to make a short little section because I just feel like I need to, and they're also very popular, so I feel like a lot of you guys will have read them. So anyway, before we get into that, just as kind of a recap for this video, I definitely usually don't read 3 books in a week, and I technically didn't quite because I was already like halfway through Unravel Me when this video started, a little more than halfway through, but pretty close to 3 books in a week. So that was really good, and the only day that I technically didn't read the amount of pages that I was supposed to was I think the second day, but I had read a lot extra the first day, so it made up for it. So we definitely read extra than we were supposed to even, so that is awesome. If you guys are leaving the video now and not staying for spoilers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And now, if you are staying for the spoilers, I think first I'll talk about Reckless, just because I just finished it. It's the freshest in my brain. After I finished this, I went on TikTok, like I said, and I saw a lot of people's videos that were like even before the book came out. I don't know, they're so smart, that said, oh, I have a feeling that Kit is going to ask Peyton to marry him. Like, how did you guys know that? How did they know that? Like, I literally didn't even get it until the end, like a couple chapters before, even when he was talking about some box in his pot. I'm like, what is this box? It just didn't click in my brain. I'm dumb. But yeah, I'm like so sad for Kai. I also know that Peyton is probably super upset by it, but the last chapter was in Kai's POV when Kit told everyone that he was going to marry Peyton. So I don't know how Peyton feels, but we can all guess. And the other thing I feel like I wanted to talk about is the whole Callum situation, which I also saw a lot of TikToks about, because like at the kind of beginning of the book when Callum was first mentioned a couple times, I was like, am I supposed to know who this Callum guy is? Like, I don't really remember who this Callum character is. And then Hayden mentioned a Callum and I'm like, what? Like, that doesn't add up, because she was talking about how Callum knew her dad. That isn't really her dad. Oh my gosh. And they were part of the resistance together, and he's a...
What?
Nothing.
Carry on.
No.
What?
Kiss. Thank you. Can't really remember what I was saying. My fiance just came in here and interrupted me. But yeah, so I feel like he's just maybe doing some sort of double agent thing, or I don't know. That's kind of a weird situation, and it didn't really explain it like at all. You literally just had to put the pieces together yourself. Absolutely obsessed with Kai and Peyton together, and I feel like their first kiss was kind of uneventful. I was kind of bummed about that. I was like, are you kidding me? They literally didn't kiss at all in the first book, and then this is their first kiss up on the roof or whatever. I'm like, okay. But then the sewer kiss was way better, and then the water kiss, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. And then Unravel Me. I just feel like I have to be so vague when talking about this series without giving spoilers, because in the first book you think that Adam is the love interest because you hate Warner and you're like, how am I ever gonna like this guy? Then at least I read the little novella from I keep wanting to call him Aaron and Warner. So what should I call him? Well, I'm just gonna call him Warner. I don't know why. I read that novella from Warner's POV, and it kind of explains himself a lot better, and you kind of, okay, your heart softens a little bit for him. And then in this book that just increases a lot, and you really start to realize that maybe he's not so bad. There were obviously still moments in this book where he was like, you know, talking to Juliet and saying that she's wrong about believing in him and believing that he can change and that he won't ever change and he's a horrible person. So, you know, I definitely think he'll come around and that he's gonna have a redemption arc. I definitely think at this point in time, I'm team Aaron Warner. Even though, and I said this in this video already as a spoiler-free thought, but I don't really see, besides I guess him reading her journal and getting to know her kind of in that sense, like I don't understand how he's so in love with her when they barely even know each other. So that's kind of hard to believe, I guess. I can see like the foundation versus with Juliet and Adam. I feel like the only reason, at least on Juliet's side of things, that she was with him is because he was the only one that could touch her. And she just was craving that so bad that she was just like, yes, I pick you, I love you, we're in love. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that and my spoiler thoughts on these books. Thank you for sticking around if you did. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!